Kim here with Lead Generation Source, and today I'm going to talk to you about Parallel Profits. Now, Parallel Profits is a new program that's being released on January 28th, but I want you guys to kind of get some information now. So with the limited launch, they actually closed their launch and stopped taking people after a certain date. So I want you to get in now, see if you're interested, so you can be on the webinar on Monday and get in as soon as possible. So first of all, let me just say that this is a great opportunity, and it's something that I've looked for myself personally for a very long time. So when I say a great opportunity, let me just quickly recap a little bit if you haven't seen anything about Parallel Profits. So what is it? So Parallel Profits it's a business model, right? So it's a business model that is for people to make money online, and specifically you're making money online by selling online services to businesses. And most people relate this to local businesses because local businesses tend to be the ones that need the most help, right? I mean, if you're a local business, as an example, we ran a security company for a couple of years, and actually quite a few years, and we just did not have the personnel or time to be able to keep up with all of the online demands to reach our audience. And we had plenty of business as far as, we had lots of phone calls coming in, and I did a good job at getting on page one because I knew all the skills. But there was more that needed to be done. And so because of that, we should have hired on some help with this, but because I knew what I was doing, I thought I could do it all, and little did I know I couldn't. So that's where, Parallel Profits is kind of an interesting possibility in that way, because you can invite people from whether they're local businesses or they're small businesses that are online exclusively, or they're small businesses that haven't made it online. There's just a ton of potential. And so I kind of wanted to show you a little bit of that potential, but let me first talk about, so the business model of selling services, right? So now you kind of know what it is, and before you tune out and go, oh my gosh, I've gotten those phone calls. If you're a local business, every local business has gotten that phone call before where you're like, oh hey, I'm going to sell you page one rankings. And then they jokingly, well, to me it feels like a joke, but to you guys it might sound great. Oh, I'm going to get you on page one. Well, I can get you on page one really easily without you having to pay anybody. But you as a local business may not want to do that. And so the second part of that, so there's a lot of opportunity. I'm going to show you what kind of opportunity with using this tool for my school. So the second one is demand, right? I have personal experience in this. So I am working on my PhD, finishing it up right now, and my thesis focused on small businesses. And so I talked to several small business leaders in our area, and out of all of them, every single one of them needed help with some sort of online presence. Like a lot of them, in fact, thought that what they were doing online was fine. And when I looked a little bit further into it, none of them were doing anything online. They had like a page somewhere for a website, and it wasn't even necessarily hosted by them. And so, and if none of that means anything to you, that's okay. Don't tune out. Just the business model is not about learning how to do this. It's about learning how to sell the services. So the demand is there. They need it. Some of them probably would have paid for services, and I will, once I finish on my PhD, be reaching out to them. But some of them may not have. And so we'll talk more about that in the bonus section when we get to that point. But the third element of this that I really like is scalability. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. But let's jump into opportunity to start with, okay? So let's go with opportunity. So this is Reference USA is the school version of Info Group USA. And if any of you guys have been on my webinars and heard me talk about Info Group USA or Info Group, Info USA, I can't remember exactly what they're called. It probably says it at the bottom here, right? Let's see, reference Info Group. So yeah, so they're Info Group, and they collect information databases. It's just like if you want to go in and get emails from them or anything else, you can go in there. In fact, we're going to look right here, just look at these numbers right here. So U.S. businesses, there are 54 million businesses. Okay, 54 million businesses. Over here, U.S. new businesses, 2.2 million new businesses. Okay, that's a lot of potential, right? So if we come in here, we're going to go into U.S. businesses. And now, of course, if you have never used Info Group, you'll see how easy this is to use as well. I don't necessarily promote them. I don't use them for anything more than school stuff, but I figured it'd be great to show off their resources. Don't go through Reference USA. Again, that's for the school version. You have to go through Info Group if that's something you're interested in. So I'm going to just look at verified businesses, and I'm just going to go because I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, again, if you're like, oh, hey, I don't want to sell face-to-face, read the book. Read the book that came out, the Parallel Profits book that came out. I'll have a link below, or if you're on my page, you'll see it somewhere on the page. And the book will help alleviate any concerns you have. Like, I don't have a problem selling face to face, but I don't have time to, right? I'm going to teach my daughter. I'm running webinars. I'm, going shopping for food. I'm cooking the food. I'm cleaning the house. I don't have time to go schedule time face to face to people, try to find a sitter for Cassandra and everything else. So that's a non-issue in this case. And I want you guys to read the book to make sure you see how big of a non-issue this is. Now, I'm going to go by metro area. And I'm going to select Texas. And then I'm going to find Dallas-Fort Worth. So this is Dallas-Fort Worth. This is the metroplex that I'm in. I'm going to update the count. There are just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, verified, by the way. These are verified. So unverified businesses, which probably aren't even, or will probably be targeting unverified businesses. But so unverified businesses aren't even in this number, and there's 324,000 businesses. Now, I want you to understand that what Parallel Profits is teaching, and I can verify that this is accurate, their numbers are consistent with the industry, that if you have 7 clients, we'll call them clients, so if you have 7 clients, that you can make, on average, $100,000 profit per year. Now, of course, that's simplifying it because you have to get to 7 clients and they have to be paying that much. It could be less, it could be more. It just depends on what you're selling them. But if you, on average, 7 clients could get you $100,000 profit per year. Now, more than likely, as you first get started, it'll be a little bit less than that. But as you go, let's say 7 clients really isn't that much, right? I mean, let's say you want to go for 50 clients. I mean, heck, if we had 50 clients and we got $100,000 profit per year, we'd still be happy. So thinking about, 7 to 10 to 12 maybe to get $100,000 profit per year, that's not unrealistic with their system, specifically with their system. And there's a reason why. So let's go on to the next section right here. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes real quick. All right, so then, of course, is there really a need for this? I've already kind of talked about that. So that demand, and that's from personal experience. So now let's talk about the scalability, right? So scalability is this. There's a lot of you guys out there, especially in the lead generation source group, that really want to do it yourself. And, I've talked about this before, that the do-it-yourself market, when you're doing things, and you all know this, you've tried to do the activities that we've talked about. Many of you report back and say, I just don't have time for this, right? So if it's something critical that you need to do, and this is why local businesses are a great client for this, is because they have to have leads. And I'm going to tell you personal experience, right? Personal experience again. My business, I think on the cheap side, we probably paid $50 a lead. Maybe it might have been 40. Let's just say $40 a lead. Okay, this isn't a sale, it's somebody who might be interested, to upwards of over $100, maybe $125 a lead, and more in some cases. And our costs per sale were a lot more than that, right? So even if we finally did, like, let's say I think we had a 10 to 20% ratio coming in from one of the places that we were at, we'd spend $200, $300 before we finally got a sale, and that would basically offset our costs for that. Right, so then we get a profit of $300, $400 or something, and we're like, okay, wait, we just had to talk to 10 people so that we could make $100, and that's because we had to pay to get those leads in. So if you come to a small business and you say, hey, I can get you on page 1 of Google where you're going to get more leads than you can handle, which is true. We still get phone calls today, and our company's been shut down for almost a year. So that's mostly because I left the website up though. But we still get phone calls because it's still ranking on page 1. And so if you can get on page 1 for services in your local area, and it's has more than 5 people in the city, you're going to get phone calls, right? Especially if you're in a larger metroplex, if you're in a city maybe with less competition. Now, not all niches are this way, and you'll learn more about that as you go through, learning about parallel profits and everything. But the important thing to remember is that this is a critical need. I mean, honestly, if we had the personnel, if we had known what to anticipate getting on page 1, because we had 0 phone calls before that. Then once we got on page, we started getting a bunch of phone calls. We had no idea where they were coming from because I wasn't tracking it. I was just like, I'm going to get us on page 1. And then I got us on page 1. I wasn't tracking it. And I was like, oh, that's why. Because we had somebody tell us, oh, yeah, I found you on Google. I'm like, oh, And so I went and started doing some research. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're ranked for quite a few keywords. And so we started getting a ton of phone calls. Now you have to filter through those phone calls. But if we knew that, if we were like, hey, we're ready for that, we could set that up, we probably could have closed a lot more sales than we had. We weren't ready for or anticipating that. So that's something that, those challenges are small businesses face, especially local ones, and you'll work with them. I don't know to what level. Parallel Profits is new, brand new. This is the first time they've released it. I'll tell you, Aiden and Steve have been talking about it for over a year. Like last year, they kind of teased us a little bit about it, and I was like bummed out because they had mentioned local businesses. And remember, this time last year, we were just getting ready to close our business. So if I kind of go, oh man, if I had known about it, could I have kept our business open? But no, I already know that because the reason why we closed is because of health insurance. That keeps going up. So unfortunately, I don't think we would have kept it open. However, it's a great opportunity. And to be honest, you guys, and you'll see this if you read my post, I almost started a business like this on my own. But there are some unique challenges with starting. So these are for leads, right? So there's some unique challenges for starting the business up on your own. The number one challenge is time. I mentioned this. A daughter, working on a PhD, running other businesses, doing stuff around the house. I have a husband who'd like to see me every now and again, and his daughter, so I can't just take her off and go do stuff. So time was really restrictive, and if you have to actually manually do the building of the website and building up backlinks and building up the social media presence and doing the syndication network, which by the way they mention in Parallel Profits. For those of you who watch the webinars, I've covered syndication networks and how to build them and everything else, and it takes time. It takes all this time, and you're like, oh hey, just like every other business owner out there, they're not going to have the time to build what they need. So if you are doing that, you're exchanging your time for money, right? So in this case, time is the biggest challenge. And if you can eliminate that challenge by outsourcing, then that's great. Well, the second challenge we ran into then was that outsourcing. What's the outsourcing, right? I actually hired an outsourcer for a period of time. I had two over a period of time. And neither one of them could do what I told them to do. And then I found out that not only did they not listen to me, think they knew everything already, but I had to train them to do what I needed them to do. So I would spend several days training them, and then several days monitoring them, and then several days correcting them, and they never did get it correct because they kept wanting to do it the way they wanted to do it. And honestly, I wasn't aggressive enough to go, oh, hey, you're doing it wrong, you're fired, give me somebody new. Instead I just kind of was like, whatever, fine, I'll just bite the bullet and get through this term and then just stop using outsourcers. And it was going to take me too much time to track down people who could do it. Then I'd have to train them, and then I was going to have to monitor them, and then of course coordinate payment for them and everything else. From everything I'm seeing with Parallel Profits, that particular strategy you can still do, but they have a path where you can work with them and partner with them, and they already have that set up, right? So now that outsourcing problem is no longer a problem. You can legitimately outsource or probably purchase packages through them that you just resell. That's the most common method of doing that. So if they already have that set up, that's a great way. There are other companies out there. If you're like, oh, hey, I don't want to spend the money, and I'll tell you guys now, Parallel Profits, it's just going to be like $24.97. So it's going to be like $2,500. They might have a 3-pay option that makes it a little bit higher than that. But just, no, that's the anticipated sales price is $2,500. So when you are looking at this, you can get away with not, if you want to do it on yourself, the DIY method, you can do it yourself, right? You can figure out how to market to people on your own. You can either resell services, or you can do the services yourself. And they actually mention in their book, which you definitely need to get, at least get the book, right? Get the book as an outline as the worst case scenario. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But the other thing that they mentioned this, ironically, in their book, and they said that they estimated that would be, it's like, I can't remember exactly how many they said. They had like a $1,200 per month per client, and then they calculated that out. It ends up being $330,000 per year profit that you could make. Maybe it was sales. Maybe that was sales. That might have been sales. Sales or profit, whichever. regardless, even if you're looking at $300,000 approximately, maybe $250,000 a year, that's not a bad salary. And if you want to do it that way, you can. You're more than welcome to. You can even Google it and search it and find people to resell their services for and everything. But the idea behind parallel profits is that you don't have to go find a company that specializes in this, and a company that specializes in this, and a company that specializes in this. Instead, you're going to have one resource. They're going to walk you through it. They even have hinted at an option where they have franchise opportunity, which I don't know what that's going to mean, because I know what it means in the real franchise world, but it's 2019. Nothing means anything anymore. Everything's different, right? So if you guys are into the DIY, I have on my review page, I have a link to a tool that can help you with generating leads. So, and I'll have a whole review on that separately. But if that's something you're like, oh, hey, I'm not going to be paying, there's no way I'm paying $2,500, still get the book, because the book is important to help you with the because I have a nice outline of things that you need to do. And of course, many of those you will hear me talk about. You've heard me talk about for optimizing and everything else. So you could always just go through all of our webinars, right? But it's a great compiled source. And then the second thing is, check out that tool if you want to do it yourself. So if you're like, oh, hey, $2,500 doesn't scare me, and I'd love to do this. To me, that's like, I love their programs. They always have excellent information. I've never gotten rich off of any of theirs, mostly because of fear. And I'm going to be honest, this is not an area I am scared of. So with that, let me talk about our bonuses. And I'm actually going to pull over the post so that I can show them to you and have something different. So this may or may not be complete for right now, but these are the bonuses. The first one is going to be a downsell option. So when you offer somebody something, especially when you're offering them a service that's going to cost them $500 a month, sometimes, and probably very many times, you're going to get somebody who kind of laughs in your face and says, I can do it myself. If that's the case, which I should warrant this, I should say, you'll get people who are dead set against online services and social media, right? They're just going to be like, oh, look, in fact, one of the people that I talked to for my PhD was like, I don't need to be online. It's too competitive and I don't want to get those phone calls. Really? I mean, that's the kind of the challenge. That's like saying, I don't want somebody. In fact, I had somebody else say that. I don't want people to refer them unless they're going to pay. And that's the reason why they worked with referral only, which was interesting to me because, I mean, that's a great strategy if you can afford it. And if you're high end, that is a strategy. But I heard later on that person was like, oh, hey, I need to talk to Kim because I'm thinking I need to be online. I'm not getting enough calls. And that's what it comes down to. It's a feast or famine environment, and you're going to have to just go for feast and do the best you can. And that's where our services can help with that, right? We're going to be offering services that help people build their business. And this is critical for small businesses. So you're going to get people who are going to be like, no way, I don't need anything. And that's fine, because not everybody's going to want to purchase right now. Later on down the road, like I just exampled, they may come back and say, hey, I'm interested. You want to be in front of them. So the idea is that there's going to be a downsell option. I can't fine tune the details on this quite yet because we need to see what the program's about first, right? They may have something in there that we can supplement or complement, or we can make this so that it's a free instead of it being a paid one. Now, the idea is it will be paid, but you may decide, hey, you know what, based on the resources that are available, let's do a free offer where we can get people to stay with us. It's kind of like more of a lead generation style. And I have, as many of you guys know, I have Members Kit. I have unlimited sites on there, so I will create a Members Kit hosted section just for you, and then I will give you access to that and everything, and then we'll set up something that you can just sell, and you can either sell and put it in, or if you want it for free, that's fine too. But the idea is that this is for the do-it-yourselfer. So the people who are like, well, I don't want to pay for it, I can do it myself, which is basically all of us, right? We're all in that boat. But, you guys are interested in learning information about it, so we can set up a series of videos and offer that in the downsell option. And again, each one of you, so this isn't something that we're all going to be part of. It may be the same for each of us because I'm not going to develop a custom one for everyone. But I'm going to develop one and I'm going to duplicate it for everybody who purchases through our link. So make sure you purchase through our link and make sure you get that book through our link and get hard-coded. So now, again, this is also a way to capture the information. So that particular bonus is excellent because you can make it a true downsell where you're making money off of it. It may be monthly, it may be just a one-time thing. Like again, it just depends on, we'll have to see what Parallel Profits has in their training and resources. But this is a great way to remind them, say, okay, here are all the steps, right? And then you get through it and go, well, here's all the maintenance you're going to have to do as well. So they may go through hours of training and then at the end of it find out that there's 3 hours a week of maintenance, and they're like, oh man, I don't have time for this. And now they calculate that and they go, well, my time's worth $30 an hour at 3 hours a week. That's $90 a week. Paying them for $500 a month doesn't sound so bad now. Right? So once they get through and they see that, now there'll be an option to reach out to you again. And again, that's why you're going to have your own custom site. So that way each of you will have your contact information for your leads. So you can either make money off of them again or not. We'll have to decide on that. I think you'll still be making money off of them, but the main point is to keep them engaged and keep them interested and get them to come back to you when they're ready. Right. So then the next bonus we're going to do is an accountability group. Now, I'm not sure how exactly we're going to do this. We may just do it via email, text messages, and stuff like that, where we keep in touch, because I don't anticipate that there will be a lot of people that purchase through my link that will be, they'll be large enough to make a Facebook group, right? It'll probably just be better to message each other. But I do have a webinar platform, and we can have up to 15 people as presenters at one time. Of course, we'll have to mute each other, or we'll mute ourselves while other people are talking. Of course, I can share information, ask questions. I don't know how often this is going to be, no more than once a week, but I don't even know if it'll be once a week. And it'll just depend on how much information we have coming out from Parallel Profits and what the need is. Some of you guys may be like, oh, I don't need it right now. And then 3 weeks later, like, oh, hey, I need some help. Let's get a group together. It'll be something that we can decide as a group. But we're going to do an accountability group and help each other and hold each other accountable. The next one is the lead generation source founding membership. Now, a lot of you guys already have this, so it doesn't seem like a big deal to you, but we have closed this, right? We've closed this off. This is, we do not allow people to get the founding membership anymore for free. This will be a paid membership in the future as I build in a few more things. I mean, there's quite a bit of information in there. You guys know one of those courses that's in there is a $1,000 course that somebody else sells. And we provide way more information. And we make it so you don't have to set up your own website. So I'm like, okay, that's a huge value right there just to get that particular course. So our courses are worthwhile, and that this founding membership, which gets you access to all of our courses for free, is, except for the ones that are attached to as bonuses for buying specific software, because that's pointless unless you have the software. That you get all of those, and it's a huge value. So we will eventually be turning that into a monthly paid one as we get more support on that. But for now, again, nobody can get the founding membership unless you already have it, or something like this where we offer it as a bonus. So extra secrets. Now this kind of sounds a little weird, but for those of you who like to dabble in search engine optimization or online marketing even, you want to find your own resources, something like that, I can share tons of secrets with you. And again, we need to let the training have a chance to share what they have, but I can almost guarantee there's going to be some tricks that they don't talk about, either because they don't promote them or because they don't know about them. And so in that case, whatever they don't cover, I will share that information with you, even if it's just through like an email to you guys or whatever. Of course, I have to know who you are, which, by the way, this goes through ClickBank, so I don't know who you are until you tell me. So you either need to message me through Facebook or go through support. Okay, bonus number 5, a high quality backlink. Now, I'm not going to name the source because I don't want to get in trouble for this, but I'm going to tell you it's a mega source with the domain authority in the 90 plus range. In fact, I ran it the other day on a webinar and it was 94 or something like that. So that's a huge authoritative site. Now, I can't guarantee that we can get you a backlink because there's requirements to make it happen. So there are things you have to do, like you have to have a website, and the website has to be a certain level of quality on it. It can't be just like a spammy, porny site or something. So none of that will work. It has to be, we'll have to approve the site, and then we'll have to do it. This is something that we're going to sell in the future for several $100s for one link, because it's extremely time consuming to do this, right? So we may end up making $1,000 because that's just the way, it just takes so much time to do it. So with that in mind, we're also going to open up the opportunity to sell the high quality backlink option. Of course, you'll get the details once you buy through us and know what it is, because we can't, like I said, we don't want to share that and get in trouble. So we are kind of manipulating a loophole, but it's not exactly a loophole. It's just, it requires software, and we're doing a service. at the same time. So we're providing a service at the same time as using that to help us. But it is a little bit in the gray area. So you don't have to do this, just so you guys know, but we'll talk more about it after, Parallel Profits closes and everything. So the last one, which I added on at the last minute thinking, well, we've got tons of value already packed in here, but I want to make sure you guys are successful and that you don't have any hangups. So I added in this bonus number 7, which is a 1-hour coaching session with either myself, Kim, or my sister, Chrissy. Now, Chrissy is not necessarily an SEO guru, so don't be planning on going, well, I'm going to talk to Chrissy about SEO, because if you say that and she's like, yeah, I don't want to. I mean, it would be kind of a waste of an hour. I mean, she'll talk to you for an hour about it and what she thinks about it, but if she's not going to tell you how to get the backlinks, that's my specialty. She specializes in Etsy. She's a 1%er on Etsy. She's very good at e-commerce, print on demand. Let's see, she does blogging quite well. And, she actually does, even though she doesn't do keyword research, she can identify keywords really well. So if that's something that, you're like, oh, hey, I want to go with Chrissy, I want to talk about this, this, and this, that's fine. Or if you want to talk to me, if you're like, oh, hey, I'm going to talk to Kim, I'm going to talk to her about lead generation, I'm going to talk to her about, that's fine. You can pick one of us, and of course, it'll depend on availability on when this can happen. But we do not offer this coaching resource publicly. We don't. Other people will go, oh, this is a $500 an hour offer here because that's what I charge people, but then they never charge them that. Yeah, we don't charge people at all because we don't have time for this. And we already know. So because our time is so limited, we are literally making this. This is the first time we've offered this. And we've thought about opening it up before, but we decided that we didn't want to, not provide value in that. So we said, okay, we're going to keep this for something that's truly valuable and something truly really needs. Of course, when you buy through our link, we make money off of you. So it's only fair to provide you with something valuable in return. So in return, we will be saying, hey, you can do a 1-hour coaching session with us. Of course, you need to keep your transaction ID. That's the one thing, like I said, we do not know who purchases through us in this case. So anyway, you can ask us about anything we normally teach or discuss parallel profit strategy, whichever. So that's what we have currently. We may end up adding more bonuses as we go. And as you guys know, I'm very big about giving stuff away. So as I have things that I can give away, I will definitely do that. As Parallel Profits goes on and I see other opportunities, like, oh, hey, I know about this resource. I will tell you about the resource, obviously. But if there's anything I have for free that I can give you for free, I will give it to you. I have tons of plugins, tons of themes, tons of things that I can do on that end, and I will obviously share that with anybody who's on Parallel Profits with us, because that's right up your alley. So anyway, so that's it for Parallel Profits from me. If you guys have questions, join us in the group. We're going to cover this a little bit in the webinar for this week, which today is the 23rd. So tomorrow, the 24th, we'll cover a tiny bit on the webinar, but you guys are going to have to really watch this video. Of course, you already have by now. And read the page for more information. And then, of course, make sure you get the book. Make sure, you click the link to get the book for Parallel Profits. Click our link. If you do not go through our link and you're not hard-coded to us and you buy it through somebody else, you do not get our bonuses. It's just the way it's going to work. We can't afford to do these for everybody. You have to purchase through our link. Now, this isn't like GrooveCart where we were like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It does matter this time. It matters. These bonuses are only for people who purchase through our link. Make that clear and upfront. No sob stories afterwards. Sorry, we just cannot afford, especially with the backlink and the secrets and stuff. We just can't share that with everybody, right? I share a lot of secrets with you guys anyway, but there's a bunch of stuff I keep back because it's more advanced. So as we're all going through Parallel Profits, I can add more to that, help you guys. That's the idea. We're in this together. We'll build our. I'm going for more than $100,000. I think 7 clients is nothing. I'll tell you guys, it was 8 people on my research thing, 8 people. I probably could have got half of them, at least just when I was talking to them. Now, granted, that was face-to-face, and that I think that does increase the conversion rate, but still, I think there's a really good opportunity that if you can get the information to people in the time that they want it, and you can, build a good page, they'll walk us through all of that. So that's the important thing. Get the book though. It'll give you more information, and then you can ask me questions. Again, I only know as much as you guys do. So just keep that in mind that this is a new program. So nobody's had a chance. I'm not part of the beta group or anything, so I didn't have a chance to do that. But Chrissy and I will be doing this, at least me. I don't know how much Chrissy's going to do. She's going to give it a try, and if she doesn't like it, she's going to walk away from it. But because she's not the SEO person. I love this. This is my bread and butter. You guys know that. So hop into the group, ask some questions, and make sure you click that link and get the book. I'll see you guys then.